Thank you, everyone, for coming. Everybody looks like they're way far away from me today. I'm like, are y'all scared of us or something? I want to thank everyone for coming and welcome everyone to this Henderson County Board of Education regular meeting. Today is December 16th, 2019, and we are going to call this meeting to order. And I know everyone is looking forward to having a very Merry Christmas, and we wish that for all of you. Also, keep in your thoughts and prayers those people who struggle with Christmas holidays because friends or family members that can't be with them, and that includes our servicemen and women overseas. So keep all those folks in your thoughts and prayers for a few moments. Thank you. Thank you all. We have two North Middle School ambassadors. Would two of them, Miss Savannah Rideout and Amara Howard, stand up and lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, please? Nothing like throwing you into the wind, girls. Thank you, ladies. Moving on to the approval of the agenda. Has everyone had a chance to read it? Or are there any discussions or changes? Hearing none, I'll look for a motion to approve the agenda as listed.
I'll make that motion.
Thank you, Ms. Tracy. I'll second that. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. Agenda approved. Moving on to the Sesquicentennial Spotlight. Ms. Megan?
It's our last spotlight for the Sesquicentennial, and it has been a great year of celebration. We've had over close to 2,000 followers on the Henderson County School 150 Facebook page, over 1,000 pictures scanned and archived, and we're going to continue our partnership of the promotion of local history in our schools, and we formed a committee. The CHEC Committee, Community Education, History Education Committee, in partnership with the Henderson County Public Library. And we're going to meet quarterly and still continue our promotion of history. We've had Henderson history presentations in the schools, and we're going to start using a hashtag of HCS alumni as people continue to share their stories. And we also handed out some coloring books tonight to you all that SOFA students in art drew renderings of different pictures from the historical pictures that we scanned and archived. So that is our spotlight.
Thank you, Ms. Megan. Moving on to student and staff recognition, although the first one on our list, I believe, is the recognition of our own superintendent. Would the representatives of KASA please come forward?
We have, okay,
On their way.
American
Oh, excuse
Fidelity
us.
from Kate Mathis is here. So
We'll put you at the end of the list. How's that? Go ahead, Ms. Morgana.
so let's move right along to the Judges Scholar. And this month, East Heights, Arianna Overton, if she would come forward, please. She was the Judges Scholar. Miss Odom is coming forward to tell us a little bit about this young lady and some of the incredible leadership skills I'm sure that she exhibited to be chosen. So tell us a little bit about Arianna before we give her her Medal of Excellence.
Thank you for this opportunity. New York Yankees Hall of Fame baseball player Joe DiMaggio once said, "A person always doing his or her best becomes a natural leader, just by example." This describes Arianna Overton, 5th grader at East Heights Elementary. She is an excellent choice for this year's East Heights Judges Scholar. Her teachers had this to say about her. Arianna always keeps her composure and perseveres when things are tough. She has a grace about her. She is always positive and tries to lift others up. Arianna includes anyone, regardless of the situation. She tries to understand things from other people's points of view. In addition to these exceptional qualities that define her character, Arianna works hard for her academic success. She is very conscientious with her work and puts forth the best effort that she can. She is extremely responsible. Other students come to her to look for her advice and her help. With all of the many things that a student could be worried about in life, Arianna has more than a fair share of those things outside of the school day. Despite every challenge, she manages to be who she is with many things on her mind. Author and educator Stephen Covey writes, "What you do has far greater impact than what you say." East Heights is very proud of our quiet leader and Judges Scholar, Arianna Overton.
Miss Odom, I know you're very proud to have her as an East Heights Hawk, and hearing all the incredible things about you, it's been a pleasure to meet you. What was one of your favorite things that you got to do on the day for your Judges Scholar?
Probably sitting in the judge's chair.
Yeah, how about that? And did they declare it your day across the county? Yeah, pretty special day for this young lady. I think you brought some special guests with you. Who did you bring with you tonight?
My little sister, my mom, and my dad.
Would they please stand and be recognized also? I know you all are very proud, and you should be. We have awarded Arianna with the Medal of Excellence this evening, and we're very proud that you are a part of the Henderson County Schools. I have one last question. Could I have a picture with you? Wonderful. Let's move over to the side, please. Okay, next on the agenda is Building a Better Graduate, East Heights Media Center. And unfortunately, we got a phone call just late this afternoon that the media specialist had a sick child at home, and so she needs to go ahead and go home, and so we will reschedule her. So, Madam Chair, this concludes our student and staff recognitions.
We will, whenever the KASA lady waves at me and tells me, we will stop and do the presentation. How's that? Okay, thank you. Moving on to public participation and recognition of guests. And reminder, if you wish to speak before the board this evening, there is a form over there to fill out. Please put your name on it and bring the form with us. We've already talked about our two new North Middle School ambassadors, Miss Savannah Rideout and Amara Howard. If you two would please stand up. And also our Henderson County High School student ambassadors, Kayla Wayne, Sophie Margalot, Sophie Crampy, and Kaylee Stone. Bunch of nice ladies. Thank you all. Thank you. Are there any guests this evening that wish to address the board? Hearing none, move on to approving the minutes from the prior meeting. Has everyone had a chance to review those minutes? Oh, I'm sorry. Mr. Alves, I missed you. Sorry about that. Would you like to come up and... That's quite all right. Thank you. And your topic is Christmas. We're always happy to have you.
Thank you, members of the board and public. Every year I'm fortunate enough to get a card from a fellow named Larry Arndt, who, unbeknownst to him, has expanded what little knowledge I have of history. And I'd like to share this with you. May the Father of all mercies scatter light and not darkness upon our paths and make us all in our several vocations useful here, and in his own due time and way, everlastingly happy. George Washington letter to the Hebrew congregation in Newport, 1790. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Alves. We appreciate that. And thanks for the history lesson, too. Now moving on to the minutes from the prior meeting. Has everyone had a chance to review them, and are there any changes or additions? Hearing none, I look for a motion to approve the minutes as listed.
So moved, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Mr. Mike. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Thank you, Mr. West. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. Moving on to reports. Capital projects, Mr. Craig Thomas.
Good evening. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year's to everyone. appreciate the opportunity to be here tonight. In front of you, you've got two BG4s. And if you all remember, you've got 5 BGs that you have to approve on each project. Once these are approved by KDE, we'll come back with the BG5s, which unfortunately now the Board of Education has to fill those out. We cannot do that, but we will send you a mock-up BG5 for your staff to fill out. With that, the BG4 basically is part of the closeout documents. That's when we collect as-built drawings, release of liens, release of surety, and things of that nature from the contractor. And so we've collected that on both of these projects, and with your all's approval, the BG4s, we will then submit them to KDE for their approval. And so this is the next to last step of these two projects. Be more than glad to answer any questions about the BG4s that you all have.
Any questions, board members? Those are pretty simple. By the time we get to 4, we've pretty much got it whooped, haven't we?
We pretty much have it whooped. This means everybody's been paid on the subcontractor side and that there are no additional requests coming our way.
Okay, sounds good. So I need approval to, Ms. Beth, can I do both of these in one motion? Okay, okay. That's fine. Here, we can do it that way. Okay. So I need a motion to approve the BG4 for BG 19-050 asphalt improvement projects. Do I hear a motion to that effect?
So moved.
Thank you, Mr. Mike. Do I hear a second? I'll second that. All in favor say aye. Any opposed? Motion carried. And the BG4, I need a motion to approve BG4 for BG 19-230 Henderson County High School and CTE paving project. Do I hear that motion? Thank you, Ms. Tracy. Do I hear a second?
Second that, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Mr. Mike. All in favor say aye. Any opposed? Motion carried. Moving on to, thank you, appreciate that. Moving on to the Henderson County High School chiller replacement update. Mr. Steve?
Yes, ma'am. I wanted to share with you a conversation that Cindy and I took part in the other day, and I'll just briefly explain it to you. We approved an emergency BG1 for the chiller replacement based on what it is and how much we need it. And after it was at KDE for a little while, they called Friday and shared that they would not accept that it was an emergency based on their definition. And we explained what our need was and how we thought it was very important. And we have worked with RBS again as well to make sure that we have a different way of doing that in such a way that it gets done prior to us needing it before the weather is open. So basically what I wanted to share with you is they rejected our emergency status, but will now work with us as we work with Craig on another way to get this through prior to the heat showing up in the spring. And I just wanted to kind of make sure, because when we went on record as saying it was emergency, there was some question on whether we thought it was an emergency versus what they considered emergency. And I just wanted the board to know that that was going to progress, but it wasn't going to be under the term emergency. It was going to be getting done.
So do the BG's numbers and all the paperwork have to be changed?
Everything should stay the same. We resubmitted some paperwork and adjusted it that day, and so we should be moving forward.
So do we have a clue, or I don't see Mr. Billy Austell in the room.
Billy's back there.
Billy is back there?
Yes.
Is he hiding from me? Do we have, oh, there he is. Do we have a drop dead date that this would have to be installed, Mr. Austell? Before the warm weather. Aren't you a meteorologist?
Our understanding is now is we would have to post this for 7 days based on this different way of being able to do it besides an emergency. Based on the need that we expressed, there will be a 7-day period that we would have to post this. We've already talked to Craig about being able to write us something so that we can post it so they get bids. As soon as that comes back after 7 days, we can award it and move forward. So we're really, the only thing we're behind now is just the fact that they rejected emergency, and we could have done this way if they'd have told us.
So they set us back
Sorry.
a couple of weeks is all. Okay. Any other questions of Mr. Steve? Tracy, what are you laughing about? No? Just keep us posted. Just ridiculous. Okay, moving on to Megan. Do we have our guests here? She's taking her We're gonna give the ladies from KASA a moment to come in, and I think they're gonna give a presentation to Miss Morgana Stanley. Oh my gosh, bless her heart, and in this weather.
Hello, thank you for letting me be here tonight. My name is Rhonda Caldwell, and here with me I think is probably someone you know well, Kate Mathis. And I'm the Executive Director of the Kentucky Association of School Administrators, and I'm here tonight to recognize your amazing superintendent as one of our 2020 Superintendent of the Year finalists. One of the most enjoyable parts of my job is to be a part of the American Association of School Administrators and also the Kentucky Association of School Administrators. And I'm actually here representing both organizations as well as our partner, American Fidelity. And I've been going around the state with this award. We are recognizing for the 33rd year superintendents who do amazing work on behalf of their communities. And your superintendent is one of those three tonight. And I know that you know how amazing she is, but we want to make sure that we recognize her publicly and say thank you for all of the wonderful things that you do, not only here in Henderson County, but also this is the part that you might not know. She is recognized as an amazing leader of leaders across the state among all of the state's 172 superintendents. So congratulations to you. So let's give her a round of applause.
Make a speech whether you like it or not. Those are very kind words, and I would have to, I think, to start to say the first year that you're superintendent, you travel to Frankfurt every month to work with Rhonda and Wayne Young at KASA, and they help you survive that first year, and they give you lots of good advice, but the best part is that you network and that they give you the expertise that you know to continue moving forward, even once you get past that survival mode. And I'm not exactly sure what might be in that box, but whatever may be in that box, I would have to certainly say I'm very proud of, and I'll thank the board for giving me the opportunity to be proud of what's in the box, proud that she even traveled from Lexington. And our dear friend Kate is here with us also. But what's in that box really represents the work of not just me, although I'm very proud of that, our principals and our district office administrators, because we're a very collaborative, progressive school district, and that's because of the people that I work with every day. They help make it an amazing job. So I'm very proud of it. I champion the public schools and the kids of Henderson County.
So we should have her open the box, right?
Oh, what's in the box? Is anybody surprised that Mr. Steiner would help us with the box? I got this. Maybe I don't.
While she's doing that, there's actually a gold plate that will be mailed that goes on the back of it, and it does commemorate the 2020 Superintendent of the Year finalist award that will fit right on the back of the box. But inside is actually a compass, and it's to say thank you for the direction and the vision that you provided for here in Henderson County, but also as a state leader here in the state of Kentucky, helping put us on the map when it comes to student achievement and when it comes to leadership of communities. So you are pretty awesome, so thank you. And thank you so
Beautiful.
much for letting me be here tonight, and I do apologize for being a little bit off schedule. So thank you.
We much appreciate you as a visitor any day that you come to our school district, and we appreciate it. Thank you.
Rhonda told me to say something, and so I guess what I would say is I think I've known you 15 years, and Morgana is a woman of class. She is well respected by her peers, not only at WKEC, which is a local group, but across the state. And as I have watched her in leadership, and I have watched the way that she respects the people that work for her and her students, and I see her continually trying to do what's best for students and for her employees, and just incredibly proud of you. Congratulations, you deserve this.
While Miss Morgana is getting her picture taken, being a leader also means teaching what you know, and the teacher in her hasn't stopped, because I also know Miss Morgana is a mentor to other young superintendents, people who have just come on, and she is a mentor to them, just like they were to her when she just got started. This Board of Education has two main jobs. That is to change and affect the policies of Henderson County Schools and to hire the superintendent. One of the best things that this board has done was hire Miss Morgana Stanley. Okay, moving on to our Council of Councils. First up is Central Academy.
Good evening. I really didn't want to follow that, but okay. I'm Lindsay Thompson. I'm the principal at Central Academy, and tonight I've brought with me my two counselors, Sherida Johns and Cassie Crowder, and my assistant, Mr. Ryan Marr. So they had us this year put it on one sheet, strengths, then some challenges, and then what we're doing with our HDS Plus. So to start with, I would like to talk about some of our strengths. So one of our main strengths, I believe, is our student relationship building. At Central Academy, as in every school, each student is an individual, but we're able to work very closely with our students since our student body is smaller than most schools. We also have very good staff flexibility. Each day is a new day. Each minute is a new minute. And so our staff is very flexible in the needs of our students. Another strength that we have is our JAG program. It started last year. It's Jobs for American Graduates. Mr. Wes Alexander is the teacher leader for that group, and that leads right into some of our other things that we participate in Industry Night. The Jobs for American Graduates is to help with community involvement, but to also get our students job ready. So Mr. Alexander works very closely with our industries in the area and building those community partnerships. So Ms. Cassie Crowder is going to speak more on that.
Our industry night this year was great. We had 4 community partners come in. That was Big Rivers, Carhartt, Berry Global, and Accurad came in. We had students and parents that had the opportunity to meet with future employers and to learn about those different businesses. So that was really great for our kids. Speaking of our community partnerships, obviously those 4 companies. Also, our kids are going to participate in the Build-A-Bed program this year with Habitat for Humanity, Healing Rains, and Stability Counseling, which you'll hear a little bit more about in a little bit. One of my big things that I do is empty bowls. Our kids create bowls, and I brought examples. And this is one of our big fundraisers for the year. We'd like all of you guys to come. It's March 27th at noon. For $10, you get a bowl of soup, a sandwich, and a bowl made by a Central Academy student. So that's a really awesome thing. Our kids help to make these bowls, and they learn all kinds of new things, and they actually talk to us while they're doing it, so it's great. Oh, and also, yes, and it feeds our kids. The purpose is that we send home backpacks every week, and that funds that, so we can send home those backpacks.
All right, some more community partnerships. One of them that we're really proud of is what we do with Blue Moon Stables and Stacy Denton. One of those things is Healing Rains, and with that we can do some therapeutic things with the animals, and she's very, very good at that. We've invited animals to our school. We've taken students out there to Healing Rains. And it just really kind of gives some of that therapeutic support anytime that we have animals around, not even honestly with Healing Rains. We have some dogs coming in and things like that. We see a big difference with a lot of our students that are even almost nonverbal. We see a huge turnaround with some of them as soon as they have contact with an animal. Then our JAG program went out to Blue Moon to help decorate and get everything ready. I don't know if you guys have been out to Christmas on the Farm out at Blue Moon Stables, but it's absolutely gorgeous. It looks like something out of a Hallmark movie, honestly. They went out, and JAG went, and Mr. Marr and Mr. Alexander took them. How many kids do you think went out there? About 15 students went out, and I think they were really, really proud of the hard work that they did out there that day to help get that ready. The other thing that we're really proud of is our Thanksgiving family dinner. And while that's a family night, it's also a community night. We always extend that invitation out to our community, and it's become something really special at Central through the years. This year at Central, we did add where we kind of gave them some reading on the support services brochure that you guys have. We made sure that they had access to that while they were there. And we started opening the conversation and had some reading on trauma-informed care, both like in schools and parenting. So that's that.
Mr. Steve Rame from Stability Counseling came to us a little bit, and came to Jamie Like a couple months ago to mention an idea that he had with us. And in January, we will partner with Steve and his counselors, his licensed clinicians, and they will be coming into our school to help our students. So we will have a licensed clinician there every day so that students can work with them. They'll be a part of our everyday life at Central, and they'll be doing groups. They'll have individual therapy sessions with them. And the push is that'll be a soft opening, kind of. We're calling it a soft opening in January, and then go full force hopefully in August, and to become a trauma-informed school. So that's a big thing that we're getting ready for, gearing up for on the start of the new year.
All right, and that leads us into some of our challenges, which stability counseling kind of comes into the daily struggles that our students bring with them. Also being a K through 12 school and meeting all students, all of their needs. Intensity and the frequency of the behavior, and then the mental health concerns, and then the effect that that has on our students' academics overall. So.
All right, and to finish this evening, HDS Plus, our teachers have been working very hard to put things in their digital backpack. Mr. Alexander with the community involvement that is key. He's doing a lot of collaborating and helping our students to see and think critically and be ready for the jobs when they graduate from high school. And so we're working really hard in doing that. That's it. Do you all have any questions?
Thank you. Is there anything that sounds like you've got a lot of help from a lot of different agencies and different groups, and that's wonderful, because that's what
awesome. Yes.
that's what this group needs. Is there anything that you need from us? Thank you. More time.
Come visit
Can I-
anytime.
Come visit.
Lindsay, can I ask you a I'm sorry, Mrs. Thompson. May I ask you a question?
Yes.
Remind us how many students you have, because there's several different things going on at Central.
We have several.
And so they're
We have different programs within the building. We have our Dayside program, which is our students that get sent for 20 or 45 days from north, south, and the high school, and those are behavior issues generally, mostly. And then so they come and go. And then we have our BRC self-contained rooms. So we have an elementary, a middle, and a high school of those rooms. And we have our performance-based program, which was originally the academy. And there's about 120 students in that program right now, and that's ages 16 plus to help them, and they vary in reasons why they come to be in our performance-based program. So overall, I would say we probably have about 230 in our student body at this time.
I don't have a question, but I do have a comment.
Okay.
One of the most wonderful things that I do sitting on the board is coming to graduation at Central, and it's so awesome to see the number of kids that you all have graduating each year, and it continues to grow. So thank you for all your
Thank
hard work.
We're at, I think, 11.
We have 11 so far, completers.
Okay.
Well, thank you.
Thank you all. Moving on to Thelma B. Johnson Early Learning Center.
Hi, I'm Ginger, and I'm the principal at Thelma B. Johnson Early Learning Center. And we're different. Our slide looks different. We're little and we're different, and we're a little different at preschool. We do have a star rating in preschool. It's a little different than the K-12 rating system, but it's the Kentucky All-Star rating system, and we are a 5-star facility, which means we are high quality. It's the highest star rating you can get. Research shows that kids who attend high quality environments like that do better in math and reading and language. This star rating makes us eligible for different grant funds that the state offers when they are available, and they did happen to be available for this year, so it allowed us for the last 2 years to work with some private childcare partners. And if you will indulge me for just a few seconds, I'd like to read you a snippet from a letter that I got from one of our private partners. Good morning, Miss Ginger. Miss Laura, Miss Deborah are godsend. This year has been amazing with these ladies. I wanted to let you know how wonderful they are. They come prepared, and everything is well thought out and executed in the classroom. I'm just ecstatic about working with these ladies. This is the best team. Thank you for everything that you've done for my center. Thank you for the supplies that were purchased for the room. It was truly appreciated. We are now a 4-star center. We have scored a 5 on an environmental rating scale called the Eckers, or above in every room, thanks to your help. I will send you copies of the score so you can add this information to the grant that you need to for your research. Thanks again, Tamika Johnson, owner of Kids World. That's been one of the greatest things. I get to feel like Oprah, even though it has nothing to do with me or my money, but you know, we talk and we plan, and I get to feel like Oprah and Ellen for a little bit. So that's good. But we're learning through this process of all these teams and all this conversation that we're having within our school and in the community, that it's really not enough just to meet the needs in order to be able to deliver effective, easy, and enjoyable authentic learning experiences to preschoolers. What we're beginning to shift our vision to is that we see that preschool is more about, and I include early childhood, not just our preschool, in overcoming those experience gaps that kids are experiencing. Through performance, convenience, personalization, and trust, we're trying to adopt a new experience architecture and philosophy in our preschool program. The grant money that has been afforded us through the Preschool Partnership Grant has allowed us to start that. We have thus far been able to enrich 120 students in our program and over 200 students in Henderson County that are in private child cares. You can't really see it that well, but you can see the red and the blue. The Preschool Partnership Grant allows us to do enrichment on days that kids are not in preschool. So this red and blue shows the first 10-week session that we had this year. Our preschool reading inventory continuum was given to the kids coming into that enrichment program. That's the blue. And when they left in 10 weeks, that's how much growth those kids were able to make with a 3 adults to 15 kids with a focus just on literacy, math, and social emotional development. And that's a pretty impressive data jump. Our next box has Teaching Strategies Gold and Brigance data, and I did want to take a little bit of time to talk about Brigance because we made almost 6 percentage point gains on our Brigance this year. We're still at 58% ready for kindergarten with our preschoolers transitioning to kindergarten state funded. What does that mean? Well, let me tell you what that means. I went through 120 counties of data. We scored as well or better than 109 counties. There are only 11 that scored better than Henderson County did, even at 58%. Then we looked at our neighbors. What did Hopkins, Webster, Union, Davis, Owensboro, McLean do? Well, they didn't do as well as us. Hopkins, 49.4. Webster, 45.7. Again, we were 58. Union, 41.5. Davis County was the closest to us at 52.8, still almost 6 points difference between us. Owensboro, 41.5. McLean, 40%. When you looked at the Western Kentucky Co-op region, which is what we're in, 50.4% was the average. The state average was 51.1%, which means we're almost 7 points better than the state average. We're not stopping at 58%, but we're still doing things. We're still moving the needle, and we're going to continue to do that. We are interested in visiting McCreary County and Carter County just because their percentages were of kindergarten ready for state funded 89, 94%. So we want to go and see what they're doing. Yeah, we want to go see what they're doing. So this is the second year we've attempted the 2-day schedule. We weren't really sure what that would do to our Teaching Strategies Gold data, but I want to talk about that too because it's long-term data. Brigance is great. It's the yardstick y'all know about, so I got to talk about it. But the Teaching Strategies Gold data is over time. It's not given as a snapshot 12 weeks after kids have been on break. It's through the whole school year. And last year when we had kids come in for social emotional, we had about 19% of our kids who were ready for social emotional, and they exited 95% were where they needed to be according to those objectives on Teaching Strategies Gold. When we looked at literacy, we had about 35%. We went to 97% on those. And for our math, we came in at 7% where they needed to be, and then we ended up at about 88% on those. Now, let's talk about how we're expanding our horizons at Teaching Strategies Go. We have 2 teachers, Ms. Heather Dooley and Amber Stone, who are National Board Certified teachers. They independently, voluntarily went through that rigorous structure of expanding their licensure, and so we want to definitely acknowledge them for that. Also, on our 21st Century program, we're in our 3rd year. I think I've mentioned before, but I'll mention again, we were the first preschool in the nation to be selected for that. And we are loving it, and our kids are loving it, and it is making a tremendous difference. I attribute a lot of our 6-point gain to that enrichment program and the summer program that it provides. Also, through grant funding and through our allotment from our Care Preschool budget, we have sent 9 teachers this year to the Ron Clark Academy. Some of the things that our teachers have said about those that have been able to go. I became slide certified, and I am ready to change the world in my classroom for my students. The amount of inspiration, magic, and ideas that I saw here and look blew my mind. One of my favorite quotes from this training is, if a kid is going to succeed, it is up to me. So we want to thank you for the budget that you allowed us to have for that and for seeing the foresight to have this center, because that's what allowed us to be able to secure a lot of the grant funding. We also want to thank you for the November 5th day that you gave us, because that allowed us to do a book study called The Wild Card. It lets teachers look at their own creativity, look at their personality, look at their quirks, look at their interests, look at their hobbies, and think about ways that they can give kids authentic learning experiences through things that they like, and we couldn't have done that without you all. And this last section, we want to talk about our families. We're still doing family events. We're up to 77 right now. We've had thousands of people come through our doors in those summer programs. We have 9 more left before we start all over again. We're still working on our trauma-informed care. We had 51% of our families voluntarily participate in the ACEs survey. 22% of those families had an ACEs score of 4 or higher, which means they're in a lot more likelihood to have pulmonary artery disease, social emotional problems, coronary artery disease, depression, suicide. So we've been working from surveys and with our Family Resource Center on how we can deliver our family programs to meet those needs, to kind of take some of that away. And we were able to secure a $15,000 Summit alumni grant. Sometimes I have to stop and think about what all the grants names are, which is a great problem to have. But we have secured $319,000 this year to be able to present enrichment programs and do some of the things that we want to do for our family. And lastly, I want to say our school went from a bronze PBIS level school to a silver PBIS level school. And that means that when they came to see us, that they saw that we had a comprehensive system in place that allowed us to document that we were team-based and data-driven in the decisions that we were making for kids. And we do, again, understand that we are the gatekeepers of the first impression of Henderson County schools, and we take that very seriously. And I did that in under my time. My staff will be so excited. So, do you all have any questions?
Thank you, Ms. Ginger. You all do wonderful things. You said by getting this center started, you've given the precious start to a lot of kids. And although we've praised and thanked Ms. Morgana Stanley here, we also have to give credit to Dr. Thomas Ritchie for having the vision to put this center here and to get this started. And we'll have to give him some credit and some praise for having a vision to do that, because now people are coming from across the state to look at your center and figure out how to do theirs. Yes. Any questions, board members? Thank you, ma'am.
all.
Moving on to Scottsville. You don't get to ask for a building this year.
Good evening. My name is Sarah Fleming, and I am the proud principal at Scottsville Elementary. Thank you for having us tonight and giving us the opportunity to speak to you about all the great things happening at Scottsville. I would first like to introduce to you our SBDM Council. So when I introduce them, if they would please stand. First, we have Jelaine Smith, first grade teacher. Erica Hain, second grade teacher. Katie Kirkwood, fourth grade teacher. Miranda Bogus, parent representative. Tony Whitfield, parent representative. Derek Groves, parent representative. And also with us this evening, we have Mrs. Leslie Bartow, assistant principal, and our instructional coach, Shasta Norman. Thank you for coming. Thank you for your support. So tonight I'd like to begin by sharing with you some of our K-Prep highlights from the 18-19 school year. Our theme last year was New Additions, Old Traditions. One of our main goals was to welcome and build relationships with our 100+ new additions and their families. Another goal was to create many special memories as we transition into our new school. This was all while we worked to continue our tradition of academic excellence. So even through all the craziness of last school year, we are thrilled to be a 4-star school with a ranking of 54th out of 722 elementary schools. I couldn't be more proud of our students and staff. So as you can see on the slide, our proficiency rating and our separate academic indicators fell in the very high range. Scottsville is first in the district in all content areas except for the area of writing, which we came in second. But we are still very proud of our writing scores, as the percentage of students scoring proficient and distinguished increased 4% from the previous year. Our teachers have been intentional about implementing our writing plan into their lessons and continue to analyze writing pieces weekly, which has led to us to develop common school-wide writing strategies and rubrics for analyzing student work. We are also very proud of the gains that we made in the area of social studies. The number of students scoring proficient and distinguished increased 10% from the previous year. We have found it effective to benchmark our students in the area of social studies 3 times a year to ensure mastery of our social studies standards. In the area of reading, we had 71% of our students score proficient and distinguished on K-Prep, which was a 3% decrease from the previous year. Reading has been an area of growth for us and continues to be an area of focus this school year. For the past 2 years, we have implemented Saxon Phonics in our RIC, and we have really focused in on phonics and phonemic awareness. We are now seeing the results of that work this school year, and we only have a handful of students in 3rd grade that are still struggling with those foundational skills. So we feel that moving forward in the intermediate grades, we can dig deeper with comprehension, vocabulary, and build those fluent readers. In math on K-Prep, we had 76% of our students score proficient and distinguished. We are still continuing to follow math and focus curriculum, implement calendar math daily, and we use accelerated math with students in grades 2nd through 5th grade. along with our fifth graders who are scoring in the first graders who are scoring in the 90th percentile or above on math. An area of growth for Scottsville is the area of growth. We fell in the medium range with a 59.7. We missed the high range by 0.3 of a point, so that hurt just a tad. Unfortunately, there's no rounding when it comes to this area. Not that we aren't growing our students academically, but the way that the system is set up is that you get more growth points when you move students from novice to distinguished, and so when our students are performing at the top, you just don't get as many growth points to keep them at the top. So as our students continue to excel academically, this will be a challenge for us, but we are very intentional about naming and claiming students and analyzing student data weekly to ensure that all of our students are growing and making academic progress. At Spotsville, we take pride in having a very strong culture. We continue to teach the 7 habits to our students daily, and we recognize students each month during our Leader of the Month ceremonies. Each marking period, our students have the opportunity to earn behavior rewards for interacting respectfully and leading with integrity and giving their very best effort on their academics. Tomorrow, our students who have earned their behavior reward for this marking period have the chance to go see Frozen 2, and we are pleased that 96% of our students earned this behavior reward. So all students at Spotsville also have leadership notebooks to set goals to track behavior and academic progress. And in the spring, the students have the opportunity to share their leadership notebooks with their parents during our student-led conferences. Each day, we're striving to build better graduates. We have several groups of teachers that have really taken off with project-based learning this school year. Last year, we only piloted PBL with 2nd grade, and now we have 8 teachers that are trained in grades K through 3. Most have just finished up their experiences with their projects. We had our 1st grade. They collaborated with the construction design class from the high school, and they came over to help our 1st grader build bat boxes. And I believe, Ms. Stanley, you picked yours up today, so thank you. It was really awesome to see some of our former Panthers come over and collaborate with our 1st grade students. Not only did they just help them build the boxes, but they really questioned the kids and asked them, why are you building these? What did you learn? Give me some facts about bats. So it was really cool to see them collaborating. And then one of my personal favorite PBL projects that we have going on right now is Hugs and Mugs. Our 2 special needs units have their own coffee business up and running. Staff have the opportunity to purchase coffee or hot chocolate on Fridays, and it's served right up to your door with a warm hug. So thank you to Mrs. Stanley for allowing us to apply for some of that PBL grant money to make that a reality at Spotsville. Also, our students are constantly adding evidence of building a better graduate into their digital backpacks. This evidence will not only follow them all the way through graduation, but also will assist them with their 5th grade defenses. Last school year, our 5th grade teachers piloted 5th grade defenses with all of our 5th grade students. Each 5th grade student had to give a 2 to 3 minute defense as to why they were ready to transition on to middle school. And our students did a phenomenal job, and we are excited to implement those again this year. We also have STEAM activities going on in our library weekly with Mrs. Payne. On any given day, you can see our students collaborating, communicating, and using their critical thinking skills. They're doing anything from using Kiva blocks to Spiro to stick box. Also, our SLP team, with the generous donation from the Bogus family, they are using our new 3D printer. The students just finished up some pretty creative Christmas ornaments. My daughter Bella brought hers home today, and that was the first thing that we did when we got home was put it up on the Christmas tree. They were very creative and super cute. So we're excited to see our students using the 5 life and world-class skills on a daily basis because we know how important these are to be successful citizens. So we have many great things happening at Spotsville, and we are having a fantastic school year. We are extremely proud of how we transitioned into our new school, and we are excited to continue on our tradition of academic excellence and continue to soar to the horizon and beyond. Does anyone have any questions? Comments?
Thank you, ma'am. Doing a wonderful job. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Sorry you don't get high points for keeping those kids up there, but
I know.
it is what it is.
It is what it is.
Don't worry about the scores. Just keep kids up there high. You're fine.
Thank you all. Thank you for your continued support.
Thank you. Moving on to South Middle School.
My name is Ryan Rush, and I'm representing South Middle School tonight. And my right-hand woman is with me tonight, Miss Kim Marshall. I'm dead without her. She's the only one with me tonight. She's my assistant principal. We have a choir concert that I might try to slide out after this. It starts at 7. A lot of our folks are there, so. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, permission first, of course, yeah. The first thing I want to do is just say thank you to the board. I know, us principals, we kind of stick our hand out more, and you guys don't get enough appreciation. And so, we talk about when you pray, pray specifically. I want to specifically thank you for some of the things you guys have done for us. Our roof, several years back, you put a roof on that kept us dry. Our new gym floor, wow, it's amazing. And we have our visiting teams are coming to me after the game and saying, wow, the lights, the gym floor, and they're just really impressed. So just making us look great and updated and modernized. Our LED lights in the auditorium and gymnasium, our library, of course, and our parking lot and our practice field that is currently under construction. We very much appreciate all of your generosity, and we in a way we strive to earn that, all the gifts that we've been given. So we thank you very much for that. At South Middle School, we take pride in our high expectation culture in terms of both behavior and academics. It transitions to our results, some of the things that are going well. We were 25th in the state out of 319 schools, middle schools, and we're very proud of that. That's in the 93rd percentile. And so every year we do this for motivational purposes for our students and our staff, but we put the 13 schools that are surrounding us, including us, and we're at the top. And just to put in perspective, because what I like to be number one, right? And so 25 is never going to be good enough for me. But just to put in perspective, the second place school of that list of 13 was Davis County Middle School, and they were 78th in the state. So that kind of gives you a perspective of where we are, and we're very proud of that. And our staff and students have taken ownership and pride in that as well. So some of the other kind of elite scores that we have, our math, we're ranked 5th in the state out of 319 schools. And we had a big pop. Yeah, thank you. Appreciate it. We had a big increase in social studies this past year. We were 28th in the state, so we're proud of that. So moving on to our challenges, we've got, we were labeled as a gap school, meaning our students with disabilities, we had a large gap in there. And so we've done some things. I want to talk a little bit about what we're doing in that category. So last year we had an overhaul. I told you this last year. We had an overhaul in the way we did things. And so last year, or 2 years ago, we would have a special education teacher teaching multiple grades and multiple subjects. Really, you can't get good at anything, when you're doing that. And so we really feel, so last year, which these results reflected, so last year, every special education teacher taught one grade, one content. So they got to plan with their regular ed colleagues and it really made a big difference. So we made huge gains in every category with our special education population. Now, we didn't, meet the mark. We still got dinged for it, but here's an example. We went up in all categories, but in reading, here's an example. We were at 16.3% proficient and distinguished in reading with our special ed population, 16.3% the year before. And so the current K-Prep scores, we went from 16.3 to 35.1% of our students scoring proficient and distinguished in reading. So that was a big jump. That was our largest jump. We had increases on all of them. So we still plan to kind of keep polishing that, to try to take it. Those teachers are now becoming more confident, and their expertise is getting even higher with these content, this one grade one content philosophy that I'm talking about. Our co-teaching model, Miss Chris Mays has really worked hard to give us a lot of training with that. And co-teaching, just to kind of explain it, it is a regular ed teacher and a special education teacher, both taking ownership in the class, where that when they're teaching, it's so seamless, you don't know who the regular ed teacher is from the special ed teacher. And so we have taken some great strides in that. And also we have a heterogeneous grouping with our classes, meaning every class has a high student, a medium student, and a low student. That's even our co-teach classrooms. And so before that, the other style, the homogeneous classrooms, you would have all the high kids together, all the medium kids together, all the super low kids together. And so so this philosophy has really helped us a lot. And so so we're getting a lot of gain. So in this co-teaching classroom, you'll have a situation where it's kind of camouflaged. The teachers do such a good job. You don't know who the special education teachers, students are in the classes. So that's going really well. Other challenges that we have our science score. We were 89th out of 319, for example. That's just not good enough for us. And so we have sent already a teacher to Murray Middle. That science teacher was in the top 5 in the state, and that teacher used Study Island. We bought Study Island, and so we're trying to emulate some of the things he did to really get those great science scores. Writing is another area. We were 53rd out of 319, still not good enough. We used November the 5th date. I appreciate that. That worked out really well, and we focused on writing on that day, on that PD day that we had. So that worked out really well. So we're doing school-wide rubrics, and we're getting on the same page so that come to K-Prep time, students know the graphic organizer that they're going to use, and so they're ready to go on that. So we're ready. So our current initiatives that we're really proud of are building a better graduate, hashtag expand our horizons, our project-based learning. We trained all of our social studies teachers. They're the first teachers that were trained, and so that was all grade social studies. We thought it was a really good fit. So some of the initial projects that we're doing, we had a 6th grade teacher. We collaborated with the library, and we did a project on ancient history and ancient Mesopotamia. That ancient history is a lot of times forgotten. We're really proud of our U.S. history and winning World War II, but sometimes that's forgotten. And so we collaborated with the library, and so we are still in progress with that, but we are working with the library to make a section of the library focused on ancient history. And a lot of the projects that we're doing, we're trying to put that in the library so folks can bring back to life that ancient history that's kind of forgotten. So we're really excited about our defenses that we're going to do, our 8th grade defenses. we have plans to, if you guys come to our literacy night, we're going to actually have students do their defenses in one of the stations. And so some of the ones that are really good and they're really proud of, and they're kind of hams and they want to perform in front of others, we're going to set them up and do that during that. So, you know, with the digital backpacks, the world-class standards, you know, the maker spaces in the library, that's being done all day, every day. So we're really excited about that. And so at the end of my afternoon announcements, I always end with our saying that was attached. So I say hashtag expand our horizons and rise up. That's our saying. Go Bulldogs. So that's I'll end it there. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Ryan. Anyone have any questions for Mr. Rush?
When is your literacy night?
That's a good question. Ms. Marshall, you got that one memorized? It's in February.
You're about as good with the calendar as Mr. Billy is with the meteorology back there. Thank you all to our board councils. We appreciate y'all. Y'all are welcome to stay, or if you've got music programs to go on to, you're excused. Thank you all. Thank you all. Moving on to consent agenda. Oh, excuse me, I missed one. Missed two. Moving on to the new business at our January board meeting.
Madam Chair, members of the board, traditionally in December we set the January board meeting, and we always do that because the third Monday falls on Martin Luther King Jr. and traditionally in the years past we have moved it to the Tuesday evening, and so I would like your consideration that we would set the January board meeting for January 21st.
I'm okay with that. Board members, anyone else have a problem with that? I see Mike looking at his calendar. Is that good?
I did look at last year's January one, and we did your superintendent review on that same night.
Yes. That's number B right underneath there. So I was going to propose 5:15, same night, until about 5:45, and then regular meeting at 6.
Okay. Wes, do you have any issues with either one of those times? Nope. Sounds good. Okay. Kirk had sent a message. He just wanted it to be after Martin Luther King Day, and he was okay with that. So that's fine. Okay, so our first January meeting will be set for January the 21st at 6 p.m. And our superintendent mid-year review will be at 5:15. January 21st. Thank you. Now moving on to consent agenda. Our consent agenda this evening is approve the second reading of the 2020-2021 school calendar, approve bid recommendations, approve school resource officer agreement, approve transportation request, approve 2019-2020 LAO plan for meeting of the needs of English learners, approve student overnight trip request, approve purchase of school buses, and approve grant request. Are there any of those that need to be pulled or discussed?
Madam Chair, members of the board, I request actually that we pull from the consent agenda item the second reading of the school calendar.
Okay.
So I'd like to recommend an amendment.
Okay. And I need to either pull or ask questions about the resource officer agreement.
Okay.
So, do we want to approve the rest of the consent agenda besides those two items? Can do that? Okay. We're going to pull the reading of the school calendar and pull the resource officer agreement. All the rest of the items on the consent agenda, I'll look for a motion to approve as listed.
I'll make that motion.
Thank you, Ms. Tracy. Do I hear a second?
Second that, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Mr. Mike. All in favor say aye. 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 Any opposed? Motion carried. Okay, Ms. Morgana, go on to your school calendar issue.
Sure. The amendment that we would request to make is on August 11th, we would like to designate that as opening day for staff. And on May 20th, designate that as closing day for staff. Those are the two pieces of amendment that we would like to make, please.
From the original calendar?
From the first reading,
first reading of
in
that.
November.
Okay. Does anyone have any questions with either one of those additions or designations? Hearing none, I look for a motion to approve the 2020 and 2021 calendar as presented by Ms. Morgana.
Make that motion, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Do I hear a second? I'll second that. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. Moving on to the School Resource Officer Agreement. You'll have to bear with me. My computer died earlier today. It states in there, in the section of, hold on a second. It states in here somewhere that that there are two schools, or that the schools that will have resource officers, I'll let you find that part, yeah. That Henderson County High School and Central Learning Academy are the school resource officers assigned to. I was under the impression we had some because we had grants for the middle schools too this year, correct?
Correct, we do. This is an agreement with the city of Henderson.
Okay.
And with the city of Henderson, they supply one for Henderson County High School and Central. For the two middle schools, we would have an agreement with the sheriff department. So the only agreement we need to approve tonight is with the city.
We have a separate one that will be coming from the sheriff's department for those two?
When they're ready to renew.
Okay, that was my only question was, I knew we had more resource officers than two schools. That was right. Wasn't sure what they were doing with. Okay. All right. That being clarified, I make a motion that we approve the, what's that called? School Resource Officer Agreement with the City of Henderson. Do I hear a second?
I'll second that, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Mr. Mike. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. That's it for the consent agenda. Moving on to financial. Ms. Cindy?
Treasurer's report for the month of November includes total receipts of $16,867,932 and total expenses of $7,786,659 for a total increase in all funds of $9,081,273. Any questions on the treasurer's report?
Madam Chair, members of the board, I respectfully request your approval of the treasurer's report as presented tonight by Cindy Cloutier.
I'll make that motion, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Do I hear a second?
Got that Christmas club check in there, didn't
Evidently.
We did.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Good month.
Any opposed? Motion carried. I'm separating you two this year, by the way. Moving on to the paid warrant report, also, Ms. Cindy.
Okay, the paid warrant report covers the period of November 19th through December 16th and includes total paid warrants of $2,851,559.18. Any questions on the paid warrants?
Madam Chair and members of the board, I respectfully request your approval of the paid warrant report as presented tonight by Cindy Cloutier.
I'll look for a motion to that effect.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second that, Madam
You
Chair.
two are just too fast this evening. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried.
Can I quote Ben Johnson?
If you have to, yes, sure.
Pay the
Ben
bills.
Johnston, yes. What, pay the bills? Pay the bills, that's right. Moving on to personnel actions, let it be known that we have received personnel actions and there are no actions from this board. And so, Mr. Mike, for the final 2019 board meeting, do you want to make the motion to adjourn?
I'd be glad to make the motion to adjourn
Well,
this meeting.
then we know when.
Excellent meeting. Appreciate the information and the job well done.
Thank you, we appreciate that. Ms. Tracy?
No, Wes is gonna.
Wes is going to second it? Oh, my gosh. Oh, my gosh. All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carried. It's a shame we all have too much fun up here, you know. Thank you all. Merry Christmas, and y'all have a great vacation and holiday.